no nobodies, no fans of Adam Driver, no black pill blobs. Basically, if you're here to cause trouble, you will be dealt with. I'm going to share this out real quick. We'll go back again to copy the link, and then we'll go to Facebook. So now I'm back. Okay, so how is everybody today? It is Monday, what is the date today? I can never remember. Don't get mad at me for that. Don't at me. January 29th. So we're about 2.5 days shy of getting into the great and powerful mystery of February and everything that occurs in February, Valentine's Day, Disney earnings call. Hey, Cross. Yep. Well, my thing is, first off, my video today, this afternoon, or earlier today, was about the fact that as I was trolling around doing stuff on Instagram, I found this. So you might want to go here. That's Restoring the Magic. And that, hey, just some other guy. Oh yeah, it has been. That is Treon Partners Instagram page where they have the SEC filing. And it's if you go on there, it's not as dense as the actual SEC filing, because I have both of them. I basically uploaded to this phone the official filing, and it was like, I mean, it's like reading. I would rather read a 1,000-page book written by St. Thomas Aquinas, translated from the Old French, okay, than that, because it got into stuff that, not that it's over my head, but when you get into the weeds of things, you kind of miss the point of what they're talking about. What they were talking about is basically where Disney's failing, and it is. Now, let's see where their stock prices are. Disney shares. Today, 96.44, you see. So they went up quite a bit. Don't know why. Maybe there's something going on at Wall Street where basically they're looking at earnings from the parks and experiences and things. That's where Disney always makes their money anyway. But that doesn't help what Peltz is bringing up about the fact that the Bob Iger and the board are really not connected anymore to the average shareholder. Bob Iger, over the last few years, sold $1 billion in stock, in his own stock. Okay. I would say, depending on when he sold it, maybe he sold it because he wanted to use the money to fund his presidential campaign. Hell, for all we know, maybe he sold it to, oh yeah, just some other guy, you're right. Maybe he sold it because he's trying to put $1 billion back in the company to cover up for FTX. I don't know. But the fact of the matter is that it's up right now, but it doesn't answer any of Peltz's questions. Are the shareholders going to get good dividends this year? Are they going to get bang for their buck? If you go on Treon Partners website, Restoring the Magic. Let's go find it again. Okay, come on. All right, so, all right. You know, we've got this. Bob Iger's 2023 compensation, 32 million. Disney share price, all right, 50. Disney share price from $118 a share to $81 a share. Now it's up. You know, they're going over the long haul. When you look at stock prices, and let's say, like, you know, you're an investor, all right, you don't invest in the stock market to make a quick buck. Okay, that's for some people, but not for most people. You're in there for the long haul. It's going back up the right way, but it's not to where it was when Iger came back. Hey, David, and that's just not good. Disney's current path, no tangible targets beyond break even. Here. Now, again, I don't hate Bob Iger. I question his leadership abilities, and we'll get into that. I question his decision making. I question, and again, this is long lens from before he had Chapek come in. For instance, let's talk about Lucasfilm, because that's what we do. Kathleen Kennedy has a contract where she can't be fired for cause. And when they were filming Rogue One, she got into an argument and got into ego matches with Gareth Edwards, the director. And while the movie was in post-production, Gareth Edwards said, "Fuck this shit, I'm out." That should have been a signal to Bob Iger that Kathleen Kennedy is not capable as a studio head to work with creatives. Okay, 'cause she's not a creative. I don't care what anybody says. If you look at anything that what Steven Spielberg said about her when they were, when she was working with him, and the stupid shit she'd say. All right, she's not very bright. She's vacuous. She's insipid. Okay, she's a dunderhead, to say the least. But she's also very manipulative. So if she says the right things to the right people, she got to go to places that she should never have been allowed. Okay, and of course, back in the day when she first started out, we all know how women got to high places in Hollywood, you know, and we're not going to go down that way, but you know where I'm going with that. The problem with this is the telltale signs of trouble. All right, first off, TFA. The budget was not over $300 million. It's probably about 200 million. Ended up being over 300 million. I think actually when I looked at it, it's 400 million because reshoots. Okay, Harrison Ford had the Millennium Falcon drop its landing ramp on his foot, broke his leg, broke his ankle, or foot. In which Callista, and this is where it went, why are you married to him? She was being interviewed, I think, by that moron Jimmy Kimmel. I'll get to that in a second, just some other guy, because I have a rebuttal for that. She said when Jimmy Kimmel basically stated, yeah, well, what did you think when your husband, you know, got hurt on the set of the new Star Wars movie? And she goes, well, I thought the Millennium Falcon was an airline. I really hope she was joking. I really, really do. I don't think so. Anyway, it's like, oh, anyway. So, if you take, again, long lens, going all the way back, you see issues coming up with Iger allowing Kennedy to do things. Now, just some other guy brought up Chapek. Chapek actually was not by himself running the Walt Disney Corporation. At least he was only there for 2 years by himself. Okay. Bob Iger was there the first year, standing over his shoulder, and he didn't really leave the C-suite. He didn't really leave. He still had the corner office. So I don't look at Chapek as being at fault here. That's a convenient way for the black pills, like certain people we know in Blabs, to attack Cameron for that, for the Chapek thing. And we don't do that here because Cameron is a good friend of this channel and he's a good guy, and we don't do that here. We don't act like 5-year-olds. All right, again, the problem with the fandom, Black Pill Blobs, the DK brothers, and, the idiot shells for the sequel trilogy is that they suffer from arrested development. It's like talking to a 15-year-old. Like yesterday, I was trying to explain how just because the gross box office for all of Disney's Lucasfilm films went to $4 billion, and therefore Lucasfilm broke even. That's gross box office. That's gross box office. Gross box office and net box office are complete opposites. Tell you what, go out and grab your latest pay stub, or look it up online. Let's say you got paid these last you're going to get paid on the first $3,000. Then look at withholding tax. Look at Social Security. Look at insurance. You're not getting $3,000 back. You're probably getting $2,500 back or less. Okay, that's net pay. Net pay is what you actually get, not gross pay. Gross pay is cool. It's an imaginary number, just like gross box offices. What people think on both sides of the aisle in this is that they think gross box office is real. All right. When you hear Soylo, a Soy War story made, what was that total box office? $358 million. It cost probably $400 million to make, and then added $200 million to marketing, and then you're fucked. Okay. Then box office take from the exhibitors, theaters all over the world, which is different everywhere. All right. Disney instituted 35% for the theaters for their movies, I think, back in 2016. In 2017, people were really complaining about it. And because the feeling was Disney knew that The Last Jedi was dog shit. Okay, and it was dog shit. I mean, TFA, if you think about it, is dog shit. All right, it's fucking dog shit. But these are the things that Nelson Peltz is looking at, Trion Partners is looking at. They're looking at TFA and then the steep decline in box office and the sequel trilogy. And look, Rogue One might have made $1 billion, okay? But there were still tons of reshoots. And it probably didn't make money. We know Soylo didn't make any money. The Rise of Palpatine didn't make any money. All right, they were filming literally to the almost 2 weeks before they premiered it, okay? Um, and I just remember like scrolling through it, gagging. Okay, I mean, just at some of the stuff I saw, I would just stop randomly and go, oh, it's so stupid, fucking stupid movie. Um, then of course you get to Indiana Jones: The Dial of Destiny, another huge cratering nuclear blast into the money and everything else of the Walt Disney Company, because again, it was woke, it was trash, okay, and yet there you are. And well, no, I'll take that back. It wasn't as woke as it could be, okay. It wasn't as woke as it could be. They did smooth out Phoebe Waller-Bridge's smug little bitch character, but she's still a pain in the ass. She's still obnoxious. She's still somebody you need to marry and to punch her in the face. Or Willie Scott to scratch her eyes out. Or Leia to just give her a withering look and make her shrink to about this size. Everything about it was silly. The beginning was great. The first 20 minutes with young Indy and the train sequence and everything, that was great. The rest of the movie was, again, if you want a woman to be a flirt and to be independent in that way, the best character I can give you is Samantha Jones from Sex and the City, who did not act like a whore and didn't act like a man, because she didn't. She didn't. I was aghast at some scenes with Phoebe Waller-Bridge. I mean, I was, expecting her to pull down her pants and have a dick there. Okay, that's how grossed out I was. Terribly written character. Terribly. And I was literally like, why would they do this? All right, and again, Kathleen Kennedy's personal avatar. She wanted herself to be in everything. And do you guys remember the rumors of the test screenings? They didn't have test screenings the way they usually do. All right. It was probably the executives and their families. The first cut of Indy 5. And they all went. So, the rumor that Indiana Jones disappears from history and Phoebe Waller-Bridge takes the hat and the whip and becomes Indy, I think was probably true, which is horrifying in of itself. And that she had to change it. So again, if you look and see how much money that movie cost, you look at reshoots, and Harrison Ford did say they had to reshoot the end. It was obvious that, again, in the Kathleen Kennedy way of making movies, way over budget, badly cut the first time around, poorly conceived, too much of a female executive who's better at putting, number 2 pencils in a cup on somebody's desk and taking their coffee order than she ever was, coming up with the story idea. And, no, that's not what happened, just some other guy. Didn't you hear what I said? They told Kennedy it had to be reshot, okay, from those test screenings. They told Kennedy it had to be reshot, okay? I just said it 5 minutes ago, okay? Because the test screenings were so bad. So what we got was a half-assed movie that wasn't as bad as it could have been, but still it lost, hundreds of millions of dollars, you know, and yet we have people on the other side of the aisle saying that that doesn't matter. All right, which it does. We have people on our side of the aisle screaming that Disney doesn't care if they lose money because BlackRock is propping them up. Obviously, these people have never had money in their lives, don't know shit about investing, and don't realize that even Larry Fink is beholden to his own shareholders. Okay, when Tim, what's his face, the head of Vanguard, basically says we're getting out of DEI. There's no money in it. There's no value in it. He said it. All right. I mean, that's out of Vanguard. And then we got Tran Partners showing up, which is kind of like what we're talking about. So when you look at what, let's see if I can find it. Okay. Well, yeah, we'll go here. All right. So here's the Disney Board Blues, non-management Disney directors. It is, these numbers alone are horrible. Okay. Let's go further. Of course, so we have this. Yeah, he sold $1 billion in stock, and I told you that. So they're looking at this, and when they bring in the fact that they want the board to look at, let's see if I can find it here, what the creatives are doing. Let's see, come on. All right, let's see if I've got it. If that stuff actually came on. I think it did. Good. So, okay, we'll look at this. All right, so Disney Studio Creativity. Hey, science. Hey, sci-fi universes. So this is what that looked like, that plate. Disney's current path. Improving the output and economics of our film studios. You think? Treon's goals and initial perspectives. Board-led review of creative processes and structure to restore leadership, accountability, and reclaim #1 box office position with leading economics. What does that mean? That means people like Kathleen Kennedy, Kevin Feige, the guy that runs Pixar, are going to be held accountable. Okay, that means that Kathleen Kennedy will not be back if Peltz gets on the board. Not that she will be back anyway, because Iger has not renewed her contract. Okay. And he won't renew her contract. She's busy trying to sell her house in Malibu. Let's see, Redfin. We'll find out. We'll see what if they drop the price. They probably didn't. Right. I don't want to do that. I want to do this. Can I just search? No. Redfin. Okay, here we go. We'll do the listings. So let's go here. 22575 Carbon Mesa Road. All right, here it is. The price has dropped $4 million. Why no one has taken what? The house? What are you talking about? Just some other guy? Because there's lots of reasons out there why. First off, the market is very soft for houses at that in that price point. Second of all, I don't think it'd be worth a Chinese buyer to buy it. Russian buyer's not going to buy it. Foreigners in general probably wouldn't want it. Especially, look, if you do a search on Redfin of houses in that price range in that area, that house is overpriced by a lot, by the way. All right. Now, it's got great views. It's got an infinity pool. It's got a gourmet kitchen. It's got an outdoor kitchen and a fire pit. It doesn't have a movie theater, which there's a house not too far away from that house for sale with a movie theater. Now, when we lived in Florida, when Rudy was with SOCOM, we bought a house with a pool. If you've ever had a pool in your life, they are a pain in the ass to take care of. They are absolutely fundamentally the biggest. They're not worth it. Okay, they're not worth it. If you're hot, put cold water in the bathtub and sit it. You know, I mean, that is all I can say. But like I've seen houses at I've seen houses at like $5 million that were as nice as that. All right. I've seen houses with the same, this house is almost 4,000 square feet. My house is almost 4,000 square feet. Now, what we bought this for is nothing like that. I mean, I think it was a little over $400,000. But there are a lot of houses in the area that I think the highest priced one was like $9 million. The reason why. So the foreign buyers aren't really going to be there, and because of the absolute failure of Kathleen Kennedy as the head of Lucasfilm. Look, Hollywood knows. I don't have to pull up the video of Steven Spielberg canceling her at the Indiana Jones 5 premiere again, do I? They know. They've talked about it. They don't. If you're a young filmmaker that wants a nice place to show off, a prestige place, you're not going to buy that place. Bad juju. Okay, that they actually, filmmakers are extremely superstitious. Okay, if I had won the $1 billion lottery, I'd offer $12 million for it, and then I would donate it to the Catholic Church as a retreat. Okay, for pro-life or whatever they could use it for. There goes the neighborhood. I don't care. But that's what I would do for it, because that would cleanse the place completely of bullshit. But anyway, at 10.5 maybe, but you're only getting the view, really. If you look at the other houses in the area, you get the view. And again, one of them had it was at like 5 or 6 million, a movie theater in it. I would want that. I would see that and say, that's mine. That's mine. And there are things about this house that would need to be changed. They would just need to be changed. And that's just the way it is. It was renovated, but it's got issues. Okay, it's priced too high. She was trying to get double what she paid for it, which I think was like $9 million back in 2015, in March of 2015 when they bought it, which is before TFA came out, which, okay. I look at this place and go, it's not worth it. It's not worth the price, but it's already had the price drop twice, $2 million each time. And I have a feeling before it's over, we're going to see it drop another $2 million. In which case, Carlos would offer probably something that the real estate agents would say, accept it, just take it, just take it. They're not going to make shit with it. Okay, they paid, again, I think they paid $9 million for it. Okay, and they're trying to get double because it was set for 18.9, and no way were they going to get that. It's spent 100 days at 18.9, then it went to 16.9, now it's at to 14.9. Okay, so you know, and it still looks like there weren't any takers. Okay, so yeah, well, there's a website called Ownerly, and I really think that if you're a reporter, an investigative journalist, and you're trying to get a sense of something, I think you should probably pay the subscription. It's like $30 a month, and I didn't do that, but I got everything I needed just for this purpose. Pay the subscription because it'll give you an idea of what you're investigating really is, and what I mean by the people, etc. Okay, so I had figured that Kennedy had owned. This wasn't the only house they owned there, and I was right. There's a house in Pacific Palisades that's 14,000 square feet. It's priced at like $40 million. And I think that's the main booby hatchery where they live. This house was a showcase place where you could have cocktail parties, whatever, look out across to Malibu Cove, la la la. Okay. It's very interesting to me looking at it that they'd be selling this. You know, there was an idea, a theory that she owed Disney money. I don't think so. I just think they're trying to get rid of it because they can't afford it now. And I think she knows that it's over. Okay, look, there's only so much faking it till you make it that you can pull. And that's what she's been doing her whole career. Okay, so look, if I know this stuff, Nelson Peltz knows this stuff. I agree with you on that, Carlos. I think. But not more than that. Not more than that. And Peltz is looking at Iger, wondering, why did you renew her contract? Well, I don't take pleasure in it. I know some other things. I know some situations where she proved herself to be really kind of a bitch, on a scale of what the fuck. Like there's a young actor, whose name I will not mention. This is during the Indiana Jones 5 filming. He walks into the gym and she's on the elliptical or treadmill or something, and she just glowers at him. I know of a director who basically told Iger on the phone to fire the fucking bitch. I know that. It's just really interesting to me how this has got to be known in Hollywood. I mean, just that. And if it's known in Hollywood, then Nelson Peltz knows it. So when he says, when Treon says, let's go find it. No, it's not there. It's over here. When they say they want a board-led review of creative processes and structure to restore leadership, accountability, and reclaim the number one box office position with leading economics, he's saying The leadership at the studios is doubtful. Okay, that's what Peltz is saying there. Kathleen Kennedy's leadership is non-existent. Okay, when TLJ crashed and burned, she was nowhere to be seen. She's on the phone screaming at Mark Hamill, saying, "Stop talking down about the movie. You're hurting the box office." What are you gonna do? Tell the fans when they leave the movie, telling everybody this movie fucking sucks. It's shit. Don't go see it. Don't waste your money. What are you gonna tell us to shut up? We're not gonna. We're the customers. Look, Lucasfilm is a 5-star, 3 Michelin star restaurant. Okay, let's look at it that way. In New York City. The best steaks in the world, they're aged to perfection. They've even got a grade 5 Wagyu, all right, aged. It's beautiful. You gotta pay like $300 or $400. All right, good night, Kumar. Good night, Madam Matter. You're going to pay $500 per steak, but it's worth it, right? It's worth it. You go there, twice a year, okay? Or let's say like you're, high roller. You go there once a month. It gets sold to somebody else. And somebody else doesn't keep the chefs around, doesn't keep the executive chef, hires a new one. A DEI hire. Somebody like Kennedy, a Karen. You go there, you order the steak, and it's not quite as good. There's several components missing. The sides aren't that good. The wine list, you find out that they sold off the Screaming Eagle, the Opus 2, the Opus 1, and all the rest of really good wine. And, they got some okay stuff, but it's not as good. And there's something that really bothers you about it. Is it the taste of the steak? Is it the service? Something's missing. That's TFA. So you go, okay, maybe it's just a bad night. You go back a month later, you're paying another $500 just for yours. You've got a whole crowd of people with you. This is a $5,000 meal. Sit down, you order your thing, and it comes out looking okay, but you bite into it, and it's nothing but disgusting gristle and grease and fat, and the cream spinach is like dog vomit. Okay, the fondant potatoes are burned. Okay, TLJ. So you decide not to go the next time. You go look up another place, like you go to Keen's Steakhouse. And a friend of yours goes to the old steakhouse and does what you do, what you would have suggested 5 years before. Orders the Wagyu A5 grade 5 Kobe Wagyu beef strip steak, and it is burned. It's cooked beyond well done. The sides are a mishmash of whatever the kitchen had on hand. The wine is, black box. Okay. That's the rise of Palpatine. That's what the fans have gotten from Lucasfilm under Kathleen Kennedy. When we walked in to TFA, or when we saw that they were going to make these movies, and we saw the cast was back, we were like, then after the movie came out, and basically the plot was leaked after the premieres, and we're like, okay, if they kill off Han Solo, it'll be a noble death. 7 years later, when the director goes, well, I should have kept JJ or Han and Leia together. Yeah, that just occurred to you now, JJ. it literally, when I look at this, and that was the start. I mean, it was like going in and expecting, like going into one of those really good burger restaurants in New York City where you're going to spend $100 on a burger. And you sit down and you get, not that I hate Red Robin, but the quality has gone down a little bit. And you get Red Robin and it's like, what? What? You're looking at it going, the bun is tough. The meat just feels like it had been frozen before. In like one of those already made patties that you get in like those packages from the freezer. Heck, no one wants that. That was TFA. All right, that was TFA. Had they done what George wanted to do, or combined it with Heir to the Empire, they would have probably had a great trilogy on their hands. But by keeping him out of it and not letting him anywhere near it and dumping his script treatments, this is what we got. Again, Nelson Peltz knows this. This is why he's calling them out, saying they need a board-led review of the creative processes and accountability in leadership. Enter Kathleen Kennedy and her I can't be fired for cause contract. All right, now do you see this? Now, are we going to get the emails dumped? Well, Iger, apparently gave her, this was a feeling that Sparrow got, that Iger was giving her until February before the first earnings call. I don't know. I can't predict anymore. All right, I'm not going to, because these people never do what they should. All right, here's what should be going on. It might not calm down the big investors like Nelson Peltz, but it would give the customers, the fans, the idea that they actually give a flying fuck about what's going on at Lucasfilm, and they want us to know they're trying to fix it. Tell us what's going on at Lucasfilm. Tell us what's going on with the Kennedy situation. Tell us why, okay? Stop the PR war, okay? Look, there is... Okay, I'm back. Okay, that works. Yeah, I got spam from a 760 area code, which used to be my old area code in California. And trust me, as the election approaches, I will be getting a lot more, because all it is fundraising. People needing money. It's probably the Brotherhood of Police, and I'd like to help them. I can't afford it. Okay, so the guy quit calling me. Anyway, now I can't even remember where it was. The PR war. So how many of you guys are on X? I am. I'm going to assume quite a few of you. Have you noticed the fact that there's a push to get people talking about the Ray movie? That supposedly fake Ray movie. First off, there isn't a Ray movie. There just isn't. Second of all, what they're doing is doing exactly what Kennedy did at Star Wars Celebration when she had Daisy walk out and then accidentally on purpose tell everybody she wanted to make a Ray movie. All right. They're basically trying to take away the thunder from John and Dave. And, the Gizmodo article that came out and said, no, the Ray movie really isn't delayed, and then said yes and no that it's delayed, which is like, what? That article was prompted by Pablo Hidalgo. Okay, when he puts his, you can't hide your name on your even hidden account. We will see who's talking to you. If you're talking, I mean, here, see that? The guy who's talking to Pablo's private account is Germain Lucier, who happens to be the reporter for Gizmodo that wrote that article. Why? They don't want a new direction for Star Wars, and they do not want the sequel trilogy to be retconned or put in a multiverse side timeline. All right, and it's exactly what Kennedy did to John and Dave, so they could take the thunder out of Ahsoka. And guess what? You black pills out there, you big YouTube channels, you gloriously stunted adolescents, you're her best fucking allies. Because you let her manipulate you. All right? You let that fucking bitch manipulate you. You're letting Pablo Hidalgo, whom you supposedly hate, manipulate you. That's all they can do, all right? This is called building a narrative, a false narrative. But that's the only thing people from that ilk in the world can do is build false narratives. Okay, none of this is true. Oh, no, that's not it. That wasn't it. Okay, that wasn't it. Sorry, that wasn't it. One shot. That was... Oh, Steffi. You are such an airhead. I'm also dyslexic as hell. Here's that tweet. What are they talking about? Then we've got, Daisy Ridley on the Today Show saying that, she never experienced sexism with Star Wars fans. Yeah, I know. We just don't like her character. So please, stop talking about Rey. Stop talking about it. Just shut up about it. And I would say, if you watch that Today Show interview, she basically is making peace with Jon Favreau and Dave Filoni. All right. Favreau, being a good guy, might want to bring her back so he can close the chapter on the Rey timeline. All right. That might be an idea that's been spitballed by people, that's inside baseball stuff. And I'm like, well, if he does, he does. I personally don't want to watch it. Even though if it retcons the ST to the point where we don't get to have to see it anymore, and I'm in an audience with 2 or 3 Reylos and I hear them screaming, I'll record it. I'll be laughing my ass off. Your tears sweeten my tea, you little bitches. Anyway, let's see, what time is it? How long have I been on here? Oh, almost an hour. So what you're seeing on X and what you're seeing on, I haven't really seen it on Instagram. I haven't really seen it on a lot of the Star Wars pages on Facebook. It probably is though. They're really trying to get the narrative to be about the Rey movie. And again, you got Star Wars Holocron, you got that Suggs guy, you've got Tech Solo and a bunch of other, they fucking act like 5-year-olds. Just trolling people to get the narrative about this non-existent Rey movie. Okay, and of course you've got people like, oh God, the girl who wrote about the backlash against the Rey movie and how sexist it was, writing shit like that. It's like, we don't want it. And speaking of sexist, anytime you see what some of these women talk about men like they talk, who's being the sexist? They are, okay? And, it's to the point where you're like, I can't talk to you. I've never needed feminists in my life. My sisters were all big feminists, and, you know, they're not happy. They embrace bullshit, and they're married to guys who cheated on them, lied to them, stole things from their parents, and instead of going, I'm wrong, I see that now, they double down on it. Men are scum. All right, that's a pretty, hey Mike, how you doing? That's a pretty non-objective, really kind of sad thing to say. Why would you say that? All men are scum. Why would you say that? Or men are scum. All right. I rejected that shit when I was a little kid. All right. If you're a girl and you grew up a tomboy, you're 12 years old and your dad takes you out on your 12th birthday to buy you a 20 gauge shotgun, that pretty much tells you that all the shit that you're hearing from your sisters is bullshit. Okay? All of it. All of it. Never needed it. All right? I didn't need that. I don't think any woman needs that. So when you've got these girls with these great big things in their noses, their hair, colored orange, or, well, yeah, and alone, it's college, okay? My sister Mary, when she went to college, she was a Goldwater girl. She came back a screaming leftist, okay? It's college. It's indoctrination. When I went to college, I just look at my professors and they with this smug look on my face like this, knowing they were full of shit. First off, I was 19. I got so sick I almost died like 4 or 5 times. I lost my voice. I missed an hour and a year and a half of school. So I came back, and there were still basics I needed to take, okay? Because you don't take all your basics, or, if you avoid the ones that are going to be tedious, like logic and philosophy, and the science ones that bore you to tears, biology and shit like that, which, I was a music major. And then I went into history because, I lost my voice. I couldn't sing anymore. When I was taking the history of China, it's very, gosh, interesting to me, because the teacher I had was, there we go, sorry. The teacher I had was just the biggest communist I've ever met. Red-haired harpy, bitch, who the rumor was if any of the cute boys slept with her, they'd get an A. Okay, so she's a whore too. The way she was talking about the Cultural Revolution and Chairman Mao, and she couched it like, well, it was fine, blah, blah, blah. And I said, he killed, some estimate, 60 million of his own people. And I called her out. We had an argument in front of everybody. I looked at these 18-year-olds and looked at them and said, don't believe any of much of this bullshit, don't listen to these people, to her, because she's full of shit. Do your own studying. And I quit that class. And instead of giving me another non-history class to do, I had to do individual studies with her on the history of Japan. So I did the War of World War II. And really, the war in the Pacific isn't my thing. The war in Europe is. So when you talk about the history of Germany and World War II, I'm more interested in that because, in my opinion, it's a tragic downfall. Okay, it's absolutely horribly sad what happened to Germany. All right, before the war, because it didn't have to be that way, and a lot of it was the fault of England, France, and the United States making Germany take the blame for all World War One and paying for it. Okay. Forcing one of the worst economic catastrophes in the last 200 years in Europe on Germany. I mean, there are photographs of old ladies with wheelbarrows full of Deutschmarks, of Reichsmarks, billion Reichsmarks, to buy a loaf of bread so she could eat. You know, that's why this shit happened. You know, that's why this happened. Okay, now, did we have to kick their asses? Yes, we did. Okay, was it a pleasant experience? If my dad was alive, he would say no, it wasn't. When he got home, midnight, January 1st, 1946, train station in Minneapolis, St. Paul. My mom and my aunt were there to wait for him. He never flew again. Ever. Never. Ever, ever, ever. He was done with it. My uncle, he was at Bastogne, got wounded in the face. Another uncle was with the Third Army with Patton. And another uncle was at Guadalcanal. But no, you don't like what you had to go do. But when you look at who did it and what was going on and where they were prompted, you had to. I mean, when you look at who was leading some of these, German groups, the head of, the Reichsprotector of Bohemia, Moravia, Reinhard Heydrich, fucking sicko, all right? The head of the Sturmabteilung, the brown shirts, Ernst Röhm, homosexual, bugger of boys, and he pissed the German military off so bad, they were withholding full support of Hitler, that Hitler and Goebbels and Goering, who was just a fucking weirdo, the Night of Long Knives. The leadership of the brown shirts was wiped out, and a bunch of political enemies of Hitler, including a former German general who was a conservative and an opponent of Hitler, was murdered, okay, in front of his wife on the steps of his house, okay. And that's just, I don't know, how did I get to this? Anyway, but that's the thing, is when you look at history and see narratives that are built up, we've got anti-Semitic narratives being coming out right now about all kinds of things. It's like, look, I don't want to hear about it. Leave those people alone, okay? If you're a good whatever, then be a good whatever, but it's not their fault if you don't succeed. It's shit like that. But anyway, now I have been on for an hour and I rambled, so I'll probably just take this off, but I was bored and I gotta think about what to make for dinner. And I need to lift weights. But I just wanted to go live because, the next few days are going to be very interesting. The next few days are going to be very hard, I think. I don't know what's going to happen. I don't dare make a prediction. Probably nothing, which is why it's going to be hard. You know, Sparrow's been very quiet. He will come out, or she will come out from time to time and say and tell Cameron something, but it's nothing like it used to be. All right, but we just gotta hope for the best and understand that there's a lot going on, and a lot of it has to do with a lot of the stuff going on with Nelson Peltz, the proxy war at Disney. This is the only prediction. 50-50 chance he gets on the board. All right, 50-50. This is Steph signing out. See you around the galaxy.